Peace and blessings, Empowerment Tribe. Welcome to the WUCUSU Lounge, where we talk personal growth, progress, and personal transformation. I'm your host, Brother Ajay Taimba, educator, author, community organizer, empowerment coach, and author of WUCUSU, a self-empowerment handbook. So relax, tune in, and let's get ready to build together. Peace and blessings, family. It is Brother Ajay Taimba. I'm your empowerment coach, at least virtually, and hopefully through the course of you watching some of these programs, you will decide to hire me as your own personal empowerment coach. Today, we're going to be talking about a very important topic, family, when it comes to empowerment, when it comes to achieving anything of worth, something that every one of us needs to feel powerful and to exercise power, to exert power in our lives and in the world, in our communities. We're talking about one of the key things you need on your journey to empowerment. Family, we're talking about that C word, confidence. Not arrogance, not ego, not I'm more important than everybody, not the world has to stop for me, no. But kind of that steady, quiet, self-assured belief in yourself that allows you to climb mountains, to jump over valleys, and to bounce back with great resilience, even when you face pain, suffering, and loss, right? Before that, though, I want to give a quick commercial just to let you know something very important, not only about WUCUSU Empowerment channel here on YouTube, but also about my other channel, Harlem Liberation School. Very important opportunities for our business owners, our artists, our authors, publishing houses, and so on and so forth. Check it out, family. A business owner or a community organizer looking to reach a dedicated, socially conscious Black audience, Harlem Liberation School on YouTube is your gateway. With over 635,000 views and a growing community of more than 6,300 subscribers, we engage an audience that's passionate about Black empowerment, passionate about supporting Black businesses and organizations, and getting involved in social justice initiatives. Our viewers, we're talking about business professionals, activists, avid investors, voracious readers, sports fans, high school and college parents, movie buffs, and bargain hunters, the perfect target for your products and services. We offer affordable ad space, product placement, event promotion, link sharing, and sponsorship opportunities to fit your needs and budget. So let's build together. Email us at harlemlschool@gmail.com to get started. Your brand, our platform, powerful impact. Advertise with Harlem Liberation School on YouTube today. There you have it, family. I do hope that we'll have some people who will watch the live or recorded version of this particular episode that will reach out to me at harlemlschool@gmail.com. You know, we have to create our own networks and mechanisms to promote our products, our businesses, our community initiatives. You may be a nonprofit that's trying to that's seeking donations, right? You can use our channels for that as well. We have to help ourselves. We have to put the things into existence that we want. Now, having said that, welcome back to my WUCUSU tribe. Today we're going to define what confidence really is. We're going to talk about how it differs from self-esteem, because those people use those terms interchangeably, but they are in fact different. We're going to explore why confidence matters. We're going to identify signs that you or someone you know may have low levels of confidence. And we're going to end with 3 practical ways that you can build your confidence up. Because this is something, even if you have very low confidence, it's okay. There are things you can do to raise your level of confidence. And that's what this channel is about, family. I want to be real clear with everyone watching, or everyone who will watch the recorded version. We here at WUCUSU Empowerment Channel are in the business of helping you to transform and change your life. And that is to say, if you're all the way at rock bottom, if you're doing all right, but you see a little room for improvement, or if you are killing it, making tons of money, got business popping, relationship doing well, but you still see there's room for me to grow. That's what we're here for, family, and we're proud to say that. So let's get into it, shall we? Number one, what is confidence? Let me ask you this question. Why are you confident that the sun will rise tomorrow? Why are you confident that Denzel Washington movies or a Kendrick Lamar song will be good? Because the sun in your life has risen every day. Because most of the time when you go to a Denzel Washington movie, it's good. Because most of the time when you heard a Kendrick Lamar song, it was dope. That's why, right? Because Denzel has this proven record of excellence. And the same with Kendrick Lamar. Confidence is belief. Listen carefully. Confidence is belief built on evidence, right? On experience that creates trust. That's why if somebody says, you think the sun's going to come tomorrow? You say, yeah, I'm pretty sure it will, barring some catastrophic event, right? Right? Self-confidence is your belief in your ability to handle life, to make good decisions, and to succeed at the things that matter most to you. So let's break that down a little bit more to make sure that we do not confuse those two very important terms, because part of my WUCUSU self-empowerment framework, family, is that we are aiming to have high levels of confidence and high levels of self-esteem. Now, self-esteem is how you feel about your worth or your value. Confidence is more about how you trusting in your abilities in specific situations, your abilities, your talents, your skills. Now, both can kind of coexist at the same time, by the way. So let's say you feel good about who you are as a person. Well, that's pretty healthy self-esteem. But you doubt your ability to speak in front of 20,000 people, right? Or to be an actor or actress. You say, I don't think I could do that well, right? So in this case, you have good self-esteem, but low confidence, and they both coexist. That's why it's important to know the difference. You can have one and really not have a high quantity of the other. So that's very important. You might feel capable at the work you do, at your job, at your business, right? That's what? High confidence. But secretly, when no one's watching, unbeknownst to anybody, you feel unworthy of love. That's low self-esteem. You have both at the same time. So it's important we know they are not the same. You need both. But confidence allows you to take action and to prove to yourself that you can. Let's swing now into why confidence matters, because this is important. And I want to reiterate everything we're going to talk about in these weekly live broadcasts with WUCUSU Lounge, the guests we'll bring on. We're always going to come back to a few key points that regardless of what happened when you was young, who your parents are, what they did or didn't do, who betrayed you, who loved you, who told you the truth, who lied. Listen, your race, your gender, listen. Here, we understand that. I have a sociology background. I understand that those things. But here we're talking about where we are and where we want to be and what we're doing to get there. That's the whole point of this. We don't want to get you caught up on the woe is me and I coulda, woulda, shoulda. No, we want to get you caught up in this is who I am. These are the things I need to work on about myself. And these are the tools or the techniques or the strategies that I'm using to be the person I want to be. And hopefully, if you're coming here, the person you want to be is your true self authentically, not a copycat or carbon copy of anybody else, your true self and your highest expression of yourself. You know, I have always wanted that. There's been a few times I felt I reached it, but that to me is the ultimate prize, to be functioning at your highest level, because it seems to me that when you do that, all these other things are residual benefits. So you know how people say, well, you can't just be for yourself. You got, listen, if you're your highest self, if you're connected to this divine energy family that created this universe and created us, if you are Feeling fulfilled, you identify your talents, your abilities, your preferences, and you have created a situation in your life where you're able to do what you will feel you were put here to do. You feel confident. You feel that any problem that arises that you can handle in due time. Oh, family, you're going to be physically healthy. Eventually, yeah, your relationships are going to get better, or you're going to end them. All of that is going to work out. Those are the residual benefits. And what we want to do here is remind you, do not put the cart before the horse, family. Very important. Get your mind right first, and all else will follow. But you got to get this right first. Anything else, if you're chasing anything before this, it will not last, right? It will not last, because at the root of everything is consciousness, how you think and process. And as if you keep watching these programs, you're going to see and learn that the science bears witness to what I'm saying. That how you think directly affects the pain you feel, directly affects how good you feel, directly affects your ability to finish things. All of those are completely intertwined and interconnected, right? So this is very important. Going back, I see a comment. Let me just address that. Sister Natalie in the building, she says, WUCUSU, I'm here, beloved brother Ashe. Thank you, Sister Natalie. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you're finding these particular broadcasts helpful, you know. Thank you for coming out. Very much appreciated. Now, the question then is, why does confidence matter? Confidence, trusting your abilities. This is not about identity. That's self-esteem. This is, I could drive a car. I could defend myself. I will bounce back from this illness. I'll get a job, or I'll create a business and it will be thriving and successful. That's confidence, your ability to do things. So you're going to notice, well, we'll get into it. Confidence shapes how you show up in the world. It determines whether you try new things, bounce back from failure, or pursue your purpose despite fears or any misgivings you might have, right? So when you're confident, you're going to take more positive risks. No risk, no reward, or low risk, low reward. Just like gambling. You recover faster from mistakes. You attract opportunities and important people in your life because people trust confident energy, and you model courage for others. Now, I do want to say this. This is important. When I say confidence, I mean authentic confidence, because there's a false confidence. There's a performative confidence. It's kind of like people are not really confident, but they will front and they'll put on an act, right? You may have heard the expression, the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest person in the room, or the person that feels smallest, the insecure. Often people cover up their true selves, right, when they're uncomfortable about certain qualities they have, by acting the opposite. And if you can tune into that, you'll hear people's language. The more they boasting and they acting, doing all this performative for people, it's almost, the truth is the opposite of what they're projecting. We're not talking about false confidence. So I said, I'm going to do something. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about true, authentic confidence, right? Now, this doesn't mean that you're never going to be afraid. You're never going to feel anxious. Oh, family, it was times after my strokes, I'm going all the way to Brooklyn. Almost a 2-hour train ride every day. Walking with a cane, limping to the bus, taking the train by myself, there and back. In a part of Brooklyn, I'm not from Brooklyn. I know nothing about Brooklyn. Every day. Then I had to walk 2 blocks from the train station to the school. The first one there, often. The very first one there, coming all the way from Harlem on public transportation. It was tough. I had just had this surgery. My foot was swollen. My legs, I couldn't wear regular shoes. It was really rough, family. And there were times early on when I said, man, I don't think I could do that. I'm wearing, what do you call those big, goofy looking shoes with the holes? Crocs, family. As a teacher, I had to wear Crocs because they were the only shoes that would accommodate at least my left foot, that was swollen. It was the only shoes I could wear. I felt a little subconscious about it. I said, I'm probably looking crazy, right? So this is what I'm dealing with. But I went as long as I could. In other words, I felt a little anxious. I said, man, I don't know. I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if people are going to be looking at me funny. I was older now, right? And I had gone through some serious medical stuff, surgery, all types of stuff going on. But what allowed me to push through was confidence. I had been through things and I survived them. I had nervousness and small fears about things before, and I overcame them. I started with organizations and nobody really knew me and didn't really trust my leadership, and went from that to being seen as a dope leader. Maybe I should say a really good leader that people trusted and relied on. So I had a lot of experiences in my life where I felt like in the beginning, like, I don't know, but I pushed through and it worked out. So therefore I had confidence, right? All right, so that's important. So confident people feel anxiety sometimes and feel like anyone else, but we push through it. We're gonna move anyway because we believe in ourselves and our ability. We trust ourselves 80 times, 100 times more than we doubt ourselves. And that comes from life experiences over and over, being met with a challenge, being a little nervous about the challenge, being a little doubtful, but pushing through and eventually overcoming the challenge, working around it, over it, underneath it, or through it, right? And when you do this hundreds of times, thousands of times in your life, then when the next challenge comes, that period of anxiety lasts shorter and shorter, right? And now you do it regularly. I remember growing up in the Baptist church, and I guess that the Sunday school teacher said, this little boy, he reads well and he speaks well. So when they had the different activities in the big church, the adult part of the church, the Sunday school teachers would have me read a Bible verse or say something where I had to speak in front of the huge, as a little kid, 5, 6, 7 years old, it looked like there were 1 million people in front of me in this church. This is the church of my birth that I still attend. It was, I was a little rough. I was anxious. But as I got over it and I heard people saying, that's right, go ahead and speak, boy, amen, I got confidence over time. And then when I became a young person, I did this regularly. Then by the time I went off to college and became a student leader, I'm speaking all the time in front of big, large bodies of people at meetings and churches, being invited to speak, getting paid to speak. My point here is that now when it comes to doing that particular activity, I am highly confident, not cocky or arrogant. I'm confident, not because I think I'm the greatest gift to humanity. I'm confident because I've done this so many times and I seem to be pretty good at it. So every time I do that and I get over that little anxiety, you get better. So I know I'm going to do well in this speech. I'm going to do well in this live broadcast. Even if I stumble and go a few times too many, even if I miss a part of my notes that I've taken, I know it's going to be all right. You see, that's the thing. Now, it's important to be able to recognize when people close to you, but most importantly yourself, when the signs of low confidence. This is important. If it's somebody you love and you see it, this allows you to say, oh man, maybe I need to talk to them and, build them up, reassure them, point them towards some videos. Maybe they need to check out Brother IJ's WUCUSU Lounge on confidence. Or maybe some books. There's a whole plethora of self-help books that will help you deal with confidence, right? So you want to look at these signs, and when you see these signs, you want to address them in any way you choose, right? Okay, so number one, if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, well, so-and-so did this and so-and-so got this and I should have this because they got it. You judging your relationship to somebody else's, your car to somebody else's, your house to somebody else's, your physique. That's a sign that your confidence is a little shaky. Confident people don't particularly care what everyone else is doing. And if we care, that's not to say we don't care. It means to say that we're not comparing ourselves to anyone. We're not judging what we do by what other people do. We're confident. We know that they do what they do and they're blessed and we're happy for them. But we know that we got our own set of blessings and our blessings don't have to correspond to someone else's. Number 2, overthinking or needing constant validation. Now, you know how you have the little kid and they're doing something, they can't say, Daddy, did I? They constantly, and you got to constantly rub their head. It's all right. You got to pat their back, give them a hug constantly. That's all right because it's a little kid. As a kid gets a little older, it's going to go on all the way through high school. Now, we get in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Listen, family, at a certain point, getting validation externally should no longer be a big deal for us, right? If you're constantly feeling that you need someone's approval, they need to co-sign, you need to reach out to, what do you think? And if they don't like it, you're feeling bad. If they do like it, you feel it. No, right? That's a sign that maybe a little work on confidence. Now, if somebody says, or if you come to the determination you need work on confidence, should you feel bad about that? Should you pout and be mad? No, because the presumption is we're lifelong learners. We're lifelong learners because we realize we don't know everything. we don't know everything because there's just too much information to possibly know. And we know that we're constantly growing. So we should assume if we don't know everything, if we're constantly growing, there's going to be things about us, that we need to improve. So realizing that, you should never feel bad about that. You're human. Yeah, we got things to improve. We all have things to improve. Your money, your relationship, your physical health, your physical fitness, your knowledge base, whatever, right? Okay, number 3, procrastinating, and this could include avoiding, not just failing to do stuff you said you was going to do. That's the lower level. Oh, I said I was going to clean my laptop screen and I didn't clean it. Okay, whatever. No biggie. We're talking about more procrastination involving avoiding challenges, running away from opportunities, things that scare us, but we know if I do this and it works well, it's going to be a big deal for me, right? And we kind of we try to get in the background. We don't want to be chosen. We don't want to do this. Oh man, That's a form of procrastination as well. Now, this is completely common. Everyone at some point procrastinates. Some of us are a little better with it than others, but it's another sign that it could possibly be a sign of low confidence. Now, remember, low confidence is what? Not the same as self-esteem. Self-esteem means I'm important. I'm valuable. I have worth. Confidence is your ability, you trusting your ability to do something. That's evidence-based. One is identity-based, one is more evidence-based. So there's 2 different things. You can have low confidence. That doesn't mean you hate yourself, family. I want to be real clear that we're not confusing the terms, right? Number 4, you ever say to somebody, wow, you did that so beautifully. Wow. The way you dress is, wow, you always match is perfect. Like you have this sense of style. And the person's like real funny and that could be a sign that they have low confidence. People who generally are confident, they kind of know the things they're good at. They're going to know, yeah, I'm good at style and fashion. They're going to know, yeah, I speak well. I sing phenomenally, whatever. So and they probably heard this a lot. You're probably not the first one that's told them, oh, you do this well, you do that well. So they're now accustomed to hearing it. They may be a little modest, right? So they may not want to be like, do somersaults because you gave them a compliment, but they will say, thank you. They keep it right where it is. Thank you. They don't read too much into it. Thank you very much, right? So that's another sign. Difficulty accepting compliments. Also related to that could be insecurity. If people feel insecure, now we're talking about what? That's self-esteem, though. See, if you're not feeling worthy or valuable, that may make you feel funny when people are saying, hey, you are dope. You're like, you're insecure. You're suspicious. Dope, what they really trying to say. You're reading all types of negativity into it, right? It's because you don't believe that you're dope. That's different, though. Number 5, an almost obsessive fear of failure or being judged. So when we get into, we did a broadcast maybe a week or two ago. We talked about toxic thinking. The things we think that are self-defeating, that are self-deprecative, that make us feel unworthy. So if, like the Cowardly Lion in the Wizard of Oz, you don't want to do anything. You're afraid. But you're not necessarily afraid of the big bad wolf or the bully. You're afraid of, oh, I would love to go for this job that pays so well, has these great benefits, and it would be a leg up in my career. But I'm afraid if I don't get the job, I'm going to interview, they're going to, I'm not prepared. They're going to don't like what I did, where I went to school, the way I speak, or I'm black, I won't get a job. All these different things we'll do. And virtually talk ourselves out of going to the job interview. So now it's self-fulfilling prophecy. You're definitely not getting the job now because you didn't even apply. So you fulfilled your own prophecy, right? So one of the things we'll notice is people with low confidence, they are afraid to move forward on what could be really great opportunities for them, to meet people that are interesting, that can maybe help them achieve certain things or what have you, because they're afraid that it won't work out, or they're afraid that they'll be judged. So you may have heard people say, or you may have thought to yourself, I'm in this church body, this political organization, whatever, and everybody's saying this, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I see that differently, and I think if we go with that, we're going to have problems. And you want us, when they say, anybody have something they want to say, you want so bad to stand up and raise your hand and say, I don't think we should call people's names who didn't pay their dues publicly. I don't think that's a good idea. Other people say, no, we got to put pressure. That social pressure will make them pay. You say, no, that's not the way we operate. That's not the spirit in which we work. Some people have issues paying, and they may not want their name put in public. We don't embarrass and shame people, right? We teach them why paying their dues is important. If they need help, we work with them, right? But you don't stand up and say it. And you don't stand up and say it because you're like, are they going to laugh, or they're going to be like, get on out of here with that. Weak, you trying to pander to these people that ain't got money. You way too soft. Get on out of here. So you don't say it. And because you don't say that, people now are forced, when they go to this establishment, to be embarrassed and publicly shamed, because there were other people in that audience that had your same thought. And like you, nobody's going to agree. These people got to have everybody's co-signature with stuff. You don't get nowhere like that, family. The greatest people on this planet, the people that have achieved the things that created inventions we use, philosophies we buy into, were people who went against the grain. Just about every one of them. Look, you had a person like Einstein, right? He comes up with a theory of relativity that was so advanced, they didn't even have the tools to prove if he was right or wrong. He had to wait about 30 years before they could even test with a special camera that could take special photos of the universe to prove, hell, you're right. Space does bend. You're right. E equals MC squared. Yeah, they had to test it. He was so far, they had in advance, they had to wait for the actual technology. People laughed at the man, fam. Right? You know that. Or you had people, Sir Isaac Newton, coming up with gravity and all type of people. Like, man, get out of here. You got some people saying that the earth, the church was teaching back in the day that the sun revolved around the earth. And then a gentleman came and said, no, I think the earth revolves around the sun. That man got castigated. I believe his name was Galileo or Copernicus. I could be mixing these names up. Oh my God, family. Persecuted by it. Back then the church had all power. They had him in prison. They made him a laughingstock. They robbed him of his money. He lost his patrons. Everything. Only to find out he was right and exact. So many times And I'm not going to get into all the prophets who created religions that people follow, how they went against the government, went against the grain. All of these people had the confidence and the courage to say, I know it won't be popular, but I believe it's right. I'm going to say it. I'm going to put that on the record. I'm going to say that, right? So that's very important. Fear of failure or being judged. Confident people don't give I want to say a certain way, they don't give a damn. They don't care if you agree or disagree. They don't care if it make you upset and you pissed off. Hey, they like sit in that. At the end of the day, we're talking about what ideas will push us forward, what invention, what advancement, and what won't. So there's not a lot of room for getting too caught up in one's personal feelings when we're talking about these levels of things. So that's important too. Related to that is number 6, talking yourself out of things before you even really get started. I have done this in the past. People say, I remember when I was younger, especially, and somebody would see something and say, hey man, I think you should, you should do this. And I said, I don't know. I had a football coach, high school. He said, man, you have a great work ethic. You know what? I think you should try to be a captain. I was like, oh, thank you, coach. I don't know if I didn't think I could do it. I just, yeah, whatever. I didn't take it very seriously. And then he said, all right, if you don't believe me, watch how the other players respond to you. I want you to really think about how they talk to you, how they respond to you when you say something to them, how they respond. And I did. And I noticed, oh, wow, they seem to take what I say a little seriously. Or ask me certain things. I'm like, right? And I said, yeah, so I think I will do it. And guess what? I became one of 2 or 3 captains of our varsity football team. This has happened a lot in my life. So with this, I really know what I'm talking about. That when I had lower confidence and I was younger, right? When you're a teenager, God knows you're a bundle of hormones and you're part child, part adult. It's a very awkward time. So your confidence does tend to be very low. You haven't experienced a lot of worldly things. So yeah. So you often will have adults that have to like kind of nudge you, get off the fence, man. Go ahead and be a captain. You have leadership potential. People listen to you. I see the players come up. They said this, and I was like, I just took it for granted. I didn't think it was anything special about it. I thought everybody, that happened with everybody. So yeah, that's important. Same thing happened on student council. One of the fathers went to this Catholic school. One of the so-called fathers, priests, said, hey, can I talk to you? I said, sure. He said, man, did you ever think about going for student council? I said, the guys that be going in the hallway with the pens on and they meet, they're like a government type. He said, yeah. I said, not really. I was on the football team. I felt I got enough to do. I don't want no more to do. See, so it always happened like that with me. Somebody always said, hey, man, da-da-da-da. And I tried it. Or with hip hop, as a young MC, I wrote poems on paper. But I'd be with my boys and they'd be rhyming in the hallway, right? And I liked it. I'd be with them. I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be listening. I'd be like, that's hot. That's hot. They'd say, yo, man, you always writing them poems in the book. Why don't you spit? I.e., for those who you don't know the vernacular, why don't you rhyme with us? I was like, well, I don't think I'd be good at that. I'm good with the writing the poems. Right? And they said, oh, man. And the next thing you know, boom, I'm doing it. And eventually got decent at it and got my own crew. And if you ask the people I went to high school with, they all thought, my yearbook, they all thought I was going to be a famous hip hop star. So my point is that if you're fortunate, you're going to have people in your life that are going to say, come here, man, stop. You should look, just think about it. They're going to push you and they're going to see things you don't see in yourself. Right? And so that's very important. So the number 6 is key. When you constantly talking yourself out of stuff and you got good people in your life that some may say are angels on earth in your life. They don't have wings. They're not floating and levitating, but they're giving you a message. They see something in you and they're trying to inspire you and you just doing your best to get them away, to make them turn away. And they still coming. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. You got a beautiful voice. You need to use that voice. You need to use that voice in the church, use it in the school choir, get a record, try it, go for it. right? Those people are like angels in our lives. They serve a purpose of helping us see parts of us we don't see. So that's important. And then number 7, I kind of spoke on this a little bit, was related to an earlier point. Again, these are the seven signs that may indicate that a person or yourself has low confidence level. If this is being overly performative, now, yes, there's times when all of us are loud, there's times when we may be a little braggadocious, but when somebody's always bringing up this great thing they did and it has nothing to do with the conversation you're talking about, y'all talk about how good the steak is. It's about, oh yeah, I remember I was in Texas and I went to the rodeo, and you're looking at the person like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So well, let's get some more steak. It's like, what is this person talking about? Or they're name dropping all the time, or they gotta be the biggest, loudest. Oftentimes, coming up in Harlem, I was taught by quite a few older men that I don't want you to be one of these loud brothers. Smooth, be cool. Keep your head on swivel, be observant. Don't try to be, look at me, look at me, look at me. Not cool. That's what I was taught, but that's the way I am normally. A little low key, right? The lesson was that he or she who's the loudest in the room is often feels the smallest. It's a performance. You know, we talked about that with the video we have uploaded here called Mask or Masking. About how Halloween, you wear a mask and costume. That's Halloween. It's cool, you know, it's innocent. It's a time you can kind of experiment. You can kind of be a person that you kind of want to be. Or you're not, and you just think it would be fun to be. But the problem comes in when you wear that mask and costume every day of your life. Because you don't really know who you are. Right? So you're putting on these different personas, and often you're masking, it may be that of a clown. That brings us laughter and happiness, but deep inside, you deeply depressed. You're crying. Smokey Robinson had a song, "The Tears of a Clown," when there's no one around, right? You're masking. So this is what happens when you're overly performative. It's a mask. Your behavior now is the mask. You the class clown. Do you ever notice that the comedians tend to be, many of them end up in tragic situations? Suicidal. People say they tend to be depressed. Well, that's not everybody, but that's because many times the persona of being the real funny person is masking, or it's a way they cope with the fact that they may be deeply sad or depressed. So this number 7 is very important. I know as a classroom teacher, I saw this often with certain students, and because I started recognizing a pattern, I noticed that the ones that tend to do this tend to struggle in these areas. It became what you might call very important indicators to help me as a teacher be able to have conversations with those students. To say, I notice you do this. What's going on? Talk to me. Oh, no, I'm good. No, talk to me. Is there anything you're struggling with? And 9 times out of 10, that was a mask. And then when we really talked, they weren't this outgoing, audacious. They were kind of timid and doubtful and insecure. And I want to be real clear on this channel. I want to be real clear, family. That's okay. It's okay. What's not okay is to keep denying that, to keep lying to yourself and others, and never meet the most important person you'll ever meet in your life, yourself, face to face, and acknowledge them for who they are in totality, even with their blemishes. What type of life is that? So don't feel bad that you're not the most outspoken. You're not the best fighter on the block. You're not bout it. That's all right. Be you. Because guess what? My thesis here is that many of those people who bout it, life of the party, funny as many, not all, are masking and are a lot like you. That's just the way they cope. That's the way they hide, right? But don't feel bad about that, because you know what? In this world, I could see why somebody would wear a mask and costume. People can be very callous and very insensitive and lack depth and understanding and make rush judgments. I know this personally. I know what it's like to be misjudged because of where you go to school, how you dress, the words you use, whatever. And you know the story because of how you dressed, or where you went to school, or how far you got in school, or what jobs you were. We all go through it. So I see why people would say, you know what? Being quiet and laid back and not always running my mouth in this world makes you seem soft and weak. And the girls like the guys that's running their mouth and knocking people out and robbing and doing this. So you know what I'm going to do? Put that mask on, baby. Yeah. I'm going to be looking mean. I'm going to be just saying all this. But that's not really me. But I understand it. And if that's you, if I'm describing you, don't feel bad. We all been there. Some of us are still there. And we got time to change it. That's what this channel is about. Identify the things that are getting in our way, fam, that are self-defeating, and eliminate them and take away all of the masks, the costumes. I'm saying now metaphorically, the makeup, to get rid of all of it and see who you really are. I mean, isn't that a beautiful thing? Don't you want to meet yourself, your real self? And listen, what complicates this is that we grow up in families. And the families, your mother, father, may not have done something, so they want you to do it. So you taking on that persona. You go to a religious institution, they telling you a persona, so you taking on that persona. You go to the school and they doing this and that, so you taking on the school's persona. So now you got all your friends, you see what the girls like, what the guys like. That's not you. So you want them to like you too, so you take on that persona. Right? And that's affecting what? How you dress, what you spending your money on, right? All the things you're doing, a lot of it is based on meeting other people's expectations. And I guess for them, that's cool. You're that dude, you're that girl for them. But at the end of the day, you want to be who you are for you. Because when you do that and you're authentic, guess what? A lot of those people that you're doing that for are in the same boat. They don't know who they are either. And they're fronting. Family, this is real. This is real talk. I remember a time in my life I went to go out and party after so many years of being so straight-laced and responsible and all this. And then I thought, man, I'm corny. This is whack. My friends are having all the fun. I want to do what they do. I want to go to the club, get my drink on. And you know what I found? They're never sad. They always happy. You know what I found out when I started doing that? That they were sad too. That they were fronting too. They were being performative. How do you know? If you're drinking and smoking and doing these things to excess, that's a sign that you're in pain. Having a drink at a party, relieving some tension is one thing. You always getting drunk, that means you have a problem. What are you trying to sedate? What are you trying to mask? So then I started hearing them complaining. Man, I wish I ain't got no girls gonna be here for me. So I got caught up in an illusion. Right? I wasn't no dumb dude. It don't matter your intelligence. Some things you just got to go through life and learn. A lot of these people you're trying to perform for are wearing masks too, is what I'm trying to tell you. And if everybody would just be honest and say, you know what? I don't like to fight. I only want to fight if I have to. And if I hurt somebody in fighting, I'd feel bad about it. I don't want to, that's not my thing. I like this. I don't have to go to some long vacation to have fun. I could party right here by myself, play some music. I don't need that. And that's fine. And somebody say, well, that's cool with you, IJ. I want to go to Bermuda and do it. And that's fine for them. And hopefully you have a type of situation where you can meet people halfway. Where maybe you can come out of your chilling out by yourself, go with them, and they can come out of having to be in the limelight all the time and come with you. But that's what life is about, being ourselves. That is very important. So I'm saying that to say, then we're going to get into some strategies. If any of these 7 things sound familiar to you, in yourself, if you're being honest, no one's around, so you could be like, yeah, IJ, I kind of struggle with number 3. It's all right. Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel bad, because anyone that tells you they never struggle with confidence is most likely lying to you. Let's say that. All right, let's move on. I see a few comments. Let me see what we got. Oh, look at that there. What a pretty lady we got there. This is Queen Brenda Hilaire. She says, WUCUSU, my love. That just warms my heart to hear my queen say, my love. And I don't mind saying it publicly. She also greets you all. She's not going to just be all lovey-dovey with her man. She going to show love to y'all. So she says, WUCUSU family. Very nice of her. That's right. And she's agreeing with something. I don't know what she agreed with, but she agreed with something, so I'm cool with that. She agrees with something else. She's okay, very good. And I want to thank her for being part of my life, and to the degree she can, always trying to kind of participate and to be helpful. That's a blessing that you cannot take for granted. When people try to help you to do what you do in any way, shape, or form, that is very important. Now, let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about strategies for building confidence. I assume somebody's going to watch this now or later, and they're going to say, Dad, how you talking about me? He's talking about me. Did somebody tell this brother snuck in my house? Did this brother go through my phone and my computer? No, fam. The things we're talking about are common human things. So, a person doesn't have to know you to know that some people put on a front because they want to fit in. People join street organizations, aka gangs, because they want to fit in. They may have came from a home where they got no protection. People punking them. They can't go to school, they're getting jumped. They go to the department store, they get jumped. But that gang could go anywhere, because in that gang, people know if you touch them, we all going to see you. So they join the gang, not always because they're the toughest dude, but because they don't want to fight all the time or at least get jumped all the time. So they join an organization for protection. People join the military family. Some people join the military because they want to be all they could be, like the commercial. Most people join the military because they want some type of money, want to travel the world, meet different people. Some people join the military because they believe that will make a man or a woman out of them. So there's a lot of things people do, right, to cope with feeling like I'm not complete, I'm not whole, something's missing. I want to feel beautiful. I want to do this. You'll be surprised at what the things people gravitate to often, not always, come from things going on in here that they may need to resolve. So please don't feel bad about that. Now let's talk about what we can do about it. 3 things very quickly. Number 1, this is so important. This channel is about internal work. Internal work. Not what he did, what they talking about. Keep promises to yourself. That's so beautiful. It made me want to do the Harlem Shake. I'm going to say it one more time. Keep promises to yourself. We always say, keep your promises to other people. And you should keep your word. And you should, when you can't keep your word in a timely fashion, let somebody know. I know I said I was going to do this, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. Or my feelings on this have changed. I don't feel that way. But number 1, keep promises to the most important person in your life. And that is yourself. With respect to your universe, right? Not saying you're the most important person in the world, but to you, you are. Without you, you have no recognition of anything, right? All right. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. So imagine every time you say, I'm going to do this today, you don't do it. I'm going to finish this, you don't do it. I'm going to tell that boss, you don't do it. The friend that is annoying as hell, you never tell them. That whatever it is, picture that you create a habit where you never or almost never do the things that you tell, not nobody else, yourself, right? And if you could value keeping your word to other people, why wouldn't you value keeping the word to yourself? And as a matter of fact, some of us who are in the know will say that if you have a habit of not keeping words to yourself, chances are you might not be so good at keeping them to others. So that's a very important measurement for yourself. So if you tell yourself, oh man, I need to lose some weight, this is getting crazy, I need to do something about it, and you come up, I'm gonna investigate things I can do to lose weight, causes of gaining weight. You just start with research, but you gotta move. You gotta keep those promises to yourself. Or just like with anyone else, if you say, you know what, I got on the scale, I'm a good weight, The doctor says I'm a good weight for my height and my build. I look in the mirror. People say, "No, you look great." I look in the mirror. Can't pinch no fat. Maybe that was in my mind. Maybe I have another problem. Maybe it's not that I just lose weight. Maybe it's my body image is warped, right? But the point is, you may be able to say, "No, I don't need to do that. I was mistaken." But if you say, "No, I need to lose weight," you need to keep that promise that you're going to get on the road to losing it. That doesn't mean that you need to be jogging the whole city, but it means you might start looking on the internet for what causes weight gain, what can contribute to weight loss, talking to your doctors and saying, I want to lose weight. Every time you don't do that, you're breaking a promise with yourself. And every time you do that, you're weakening your resolve. You're making it that much more difficult for you to keep the next promise. And you know what happens when you keep breaking promises to yourself? You don't trust yourself. You know what happens when you don't trust yourself? You're definitely not going to have confidence. And it's going to be hard for you to do the things you need to do to get ahead, family. Right? So I'm telling you, keep promises to yourself. When you say you're going to do something, do it. And do it when you say. And if you can't, because things come up, then say it to yourself. I can't do this today. I'm going to do this another day. And do it. And you know what? If it's exercise, I'm going to write in my journal. I'm going to read. I'm going to call my friend. Last time we spoke, it was kind of weird, and it seemed like we had bad energy. And I want to call. I want to apologize. I know I contributed to that. Call. Do that stuff. I'm going to call my mother. Listen, all the time I say I'm going to call my mother, and sometimes I forget. But I try to keep my word to myself. That's very important. It's a sign of character. It's an important character element. It helps build good character, and it helps people be able to trust you. Because you know what? People look at you, family. Did you know that? Oh, yeah. People looking at you. You may not know it. People listening to you, what you're saying you're going to do, and they're looking at you to see what you're doing. They're going to look, and they're making evaluations of you. Do trust and know that. So if you say, I'm trying hard to do this, my breath stink, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to keep some mints. Do what you got to do. Handle that. They say, you see that you're tidying up your space. Keep that to yourself. This ain't to impress nobody. It's for you. I want to make sure that I do what I can to keep my space tidy. I'm going to keep that promise to myself. I'm going to work on my posture. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to get rest. Keep the promises to yourself, right? Be thou true to yourself, and thou cannot be false to any man. That's from the scriptures. Hello? Yes, that's real talk right there. All right, number 2, I want you to reframe this concept or word of failure. I want you to think of that instead as feedback. Every great achiever has failed. Every single one. Some have failed miserably. Some have led lives of complete crime and debauchery, and were murdering and selling and doing all types of stuff. Right? Didn't keep promises to their past. I'm gonna change. Didn't change. Robbing people, or had big plans and nothing came about. It's okay. That happens. That's part of life. The difference is that this is the difference between a champion. I want you to look at yourself. If I could use a metaphor, I would say, think like a champion. Why? Because champions are competing, not necessarily against others in that sense. They're competing to be their best, my best boxing weight, my best boxing strength, right? My best boxing agility, so that when I enter the ring, I can do my best. I can leave it all out there, and even if I lose, I can say, hey, there was nothing I could have done better than what I did. That person was just flat out better than me. And sometimes that's what it is. But what a champ would do is, after they get their left eye closed in the 5th round and the ref says, TKO, this fight is over. Sorry, buddy. After they get over their tears and their anger, they're going to go to film. They're going to say, why would this dude kept catching me in my left eye to the point where he closed it where I wanted to fight but couldn't. That indicates something about my defense. where was my left hand? Why was my left hand down? And if I saw he's catching me in the left eye, why didn't I, what? Move left, right? Why didn't I change my footwork? Then you might say, well, wait a minute. I got this guy I pay called a trainer that was supposed to tell me that. So then you might say, yo, what happened? What did you see was wrong? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you see this and tell me those adjustments? So my point is the champ is looking at, all right, I had a plan that didn't work. Their plan was better. Right? What are the things I need to improve? Where am I? This tells me my weaknesses. Don't look at failure or defeat as, oh man, you are a sucker. You a loser. You a fool. Look at it as, that's a lesson. That's what I've come to do. Look at things as lessons. And so this means the first time, this is going to be a little wacky, shaky. It's my first time doing it. I'm just learning the ropes. The second time, some of those things I did before should be easier. The third time, a lot of those things I did before should be easier, and I should be able to build, right? I should see growth quicker because I did this before. I should anticipate problems earlier because I did this before. And it may get to a point now where you could teach this thing that you first was stumbling with, didn't know nothing about. What? Right? Because you kept making some mistakes. People say, man, I can't even hear what you're saying. Your mic was off, RJ, the whole show family. I tried to do a live, but my mic was off the whole time. The whole time. Right? That was a lesson. I was embarrassed. That was a lesson, though. Now I'm going to test that mic. If I don't see that meter when I'm talking, I know I got to change my mic. It's a lesson, right? The verdict is that failure should not be seen as you're a loser. It should be seen as it enlarges your classroom. It makes your library deeper. Family, I love when I succeed. And this is going to sound counterintuitive. You won't believe me, but I love even more when I mess up because that's where I learn. That's where I really get it. That's where I see what's important, right? So I want you to start seeing like, no, look, Thomas Edison, who you know created the light bulb, but he did it with the ingenuity of a black man, Lewis Latimer, who created the filament. His light bulbs kept blowing up because the heat, the bulb he couldn't stand it, but Lewis Latimer put that little thin filament. Another story, another time. Edison said he did this light bulb 1,000 times. And people say, oh, wow, you failed 1,000 times. He said, you messed up. He said, no, I just kept finding out what didn't work 1,000 times. I didn't see it as a failure. I saw it, oh, that doesn't work. Scratch that off. And he said the 1,001st time, he got it right. That's how we got to look at it. Like a scientist, like a champ, right? Not take it personally, like, woe is me. Like, okay, I got to put my left hand up. And when I'm getting, this eye's getting closed, whatever eye's getting closed, that means I need to move. I need to be moving to that side. And I need to make sure the guard is up. That's basic boxing, right? And you learn those things. Because typically, some of the best coaches, not all the time, but sometimes the best coaches played that sport. And they're teaching you from experience, right? So that's important. Family number 3. This is one of my favorites, family. And that is prepare. Prepare and practice. Prepare and practice. Prepare and practice. And it's funny, we were just talking about this with me and the Queen. Confidence doesn't come from pretending. You can perform all you want. You either know that step to the Thriller video or you don't. You either can sing like Aretha and hit that note like Minnie Riperton in Loving You, or you can't. There is no faking the funk. And listen, as you know, I'm not going to get into it, the proverbial story of the turkey and the bull and da-da-da-da. BS can get you sometimes to the top, but you will always be found out. It never fails. You will always be exposed as you was lying. You can't do this. We see this with corporate people all the time. Bernie Madoffs and people who have big educations and big businesses, and they were straight lying and getting millions of dollars. It will always come out. So you're better off preparing. Do the work. Because when you do the work, your mind is relaxed because you know you earn the right to what? To chill. You know you got it. You feel capable. Remember what I said confidence was? Is the extent to which you trust your ability to do something. If you ain't prepared to do nothing, you're never going to have confidence with respect to that thing. Right? So that's important. Now, let's be clear. Some of us, all of us, have gifts, things that we just do. I never went to a speaking class. I did go to school, so I went to, I guess you could say, writing, but those things just came naturally. But even then, if you have a gift and you don't work on that gift, you don't consistently hone it, you don't learn new techniques, you don't see the problems you have, you say too much. You give too many examples, right? Talking about myself, right? Then you'll never get better. Or you say right too much, right? Right? So these are the things we're talking about, right? Practice. When you do that work, when you rehearse, when you practice, when you prepare, your presentation will always be better than if you did not. Even if you were born to do something and you do it well, it will always be better if you work on it. And you'll expand the craft. So whereas now you were good at speaking extemporaneously, now you develop the ability to speak with a PowerPoint presentation, be able to glance at it, summarize it, and then speak to the audience or speak with a teleprompter. You expand your ability when you do that. Study before your exam. Rehearse before your presentation, right? Do the things you need to do to prepare. Visualize success before your performance. The more you prepare, the less you fear, the more confident you will be. And this is all about what? Confidence. So let's wrap this up, family. I see a comment. Let me just look at that comment. Queen Hilaire gives a smile. I don't know. I must have said something good, family. Give myself a pat on the back. I think that's a smile. I hope that's a smile. Thank you to the Queen. Let's wrap this up because we are now at the end. This is a little longer than I thought. Confidence is belief in yourself, but it's built on evidence. Anything, if you're confident and you've never done it, you never tried it, you have no track record, then that's not true confidence. True confidence comes from you did this, you did it well, you have that experience under your belt. So you're like, I know I can cook that barbecue chicken. I know I could do that well because I've done it 10 times. It was excellent, right? It's the trust that grows every time you honor your word. Learn from your mistakes instead of beating yourself up. It's different from self-esteem, we said, but both are important. But self-esteem is a lot more identity. I'm worthy. I'm valuable. Whatever I don't know, I will know. I can learn it, right? It's important. Self-confidence in this case is different from arrogance because confident people still know, yo, when it comes to DJing, I'm the man, which I'm really not, hypothetically. I can cut, I can mix, I can do all types of tricks. I know all the music that's out. My turntables are the best. I got laptops with the music. I got it all, the speakers. But I'm still looking up to see what's the best speakers, the hottest DJs are using. I'm still looking to see other people's playlists and how they mix things. I'm going and listening to other DJs, even if I'm the so-called best. Confidence does not mean that you don't recognize you have room to improve. And I want to make that point. That's very important. It's something that you can strengthen. You can work on confidence. So even if you're confident already, you can still work on the confidence by being even more prepared, more knowledgeable, right? So I do my empowerment stuff, family. Every day I'm reading some type of empowerment book. I've been reading them since I was in high school. I still read them. I still listen. I go to bed listening to my own I am affirmations. I am valuable. I am calm and poised under pressure. I still do that. I'm 57. I'm called myself as empowerment coach. I read all these books. I'm still doing that. That don't stop. And I'm finding ways to tweak and make these things better. I'm trying to be what? My highest, truest self. Because I believe what the ancients said, that when you know yourself, when you're true to yourself and know yourself, all these residual blessings that come with this. The happiness is naturally going to come with a man or woman that ain't trying to pretend for nobody, that cares about people and their ideas, but is not bound to them. Like, you don't like it, that doesn't mean I ain't going to do it. Right? That's not afraid to step out and do what they want on their terms, that defines things on their terms. Your life will naturally be more fulfilled and healthier and happier than someone that's doing the opposite, right? So this is very important. I want you, family, to take a small step. If you watch it live, if you watch it recorded, and like, think about an area of your life where you're like, I'm not confident. It could be anything. Remember, it's skill and evidence-based. So you might say, I'm not confident as a cook. I'm not confident as a student. I'm not confident in my walk, in my spiritual journey. I don't feel I got what it takes. Don't seem to be, whatever, anything. I want you to take note of that. And if it's something that's important to you, only if it's important to you, I want you to make a conscious decision. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to, like the brother said in this video, I'm going to go through this video. I'm going to read books. Listen, family, there's books you can get on building confidence. Everything I'm talking about, there's books. There's tapes, there's video, there's all types of stuff. There's no reason, and many of them are free. So if whatever you struggle with, say, I'm going to study. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to be confident, because there's no reason why you need to walk the earth and be in fear of doing anything. Now, if you tell me that you're 85, 6, 7, you want to be an astrophysicist, I'm going to tell you, hey, you could do it. But I'm going to tell you, you have some serious challenges with that at this age and all the preparation that goes into that. But you feel what I'm saying, family. You can actually take control of your life. So, also comment in the comment area section, a place where you want to grow your confidence. Let's build together. Maybe it's something I can help you with. Maybe you say, man, I want to hire you as my coach, Brother IJ. You seem to be pretty solid. I'd like you to help me with my confidence. I'd be more than willing. And then I want to say also, family, let me find this. I want to put this up before we leave. I put a lot of stuff in the description section, right? How to get some of my online books. I have a few free downloads. I have 25 ways to live. I think it's a fulfilling and productive life. I have free ebooks. I'm gonna have announcements about my lovely queen here that's been putting in nice comments throughout the broadcast. She's coming up with her own broadcast. A lot of things are kind of long for you to see in the scrolling, I noticed. So, I'm going to put them in the description section. So whenever I do these lives or the recorded videos, please always look in the description section. There'll be a lot of juicy surprises for you, some free stuff often, and it will point you towards other people and sources that are doing this empowerment work. A lot of people are doing the same work I'm doing. They're just doing it differently. It's all good. Some of you go to church for it. Some of you go to the mosque. It's all right. Wherever you get it, however you get it, get it. Get it while the getting's good. Life is ticking. Time on that clock is going down, family. Let's do our best to make the most of it. So with that said, family, thank you for joining. Please share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This is Brother IJ, your empowerment coach. Love these times we spend together, family. Don't forget to get the book, WUCUSU, a Self-Empowerment Handbook. Check out the description section to get caught up with everything else. Till next time, peace and blessings. Thank you.